In Psalm 18, the psalmist says, "The Lord is my rock, my God is my rock, in whom I take refuge." Read about an expert on time management who's speaking to a group of business students. As this man stood in front of a group of high-powered overachievers, he said to them, "I think it's time for a break. I think it's time for us to take a quiz." He pulled out a 1-gallon, wide-mouthed mason jar and set it on a table in front of him. He then began to produce about a dozen fist-sized rocks and carefully placed them in the mason jar, one at a time. When the jar was filled to the very top and no more rocks would fit inside, he asked, "Is the jar full?" Everyone in the class said, "Yes." "Really?" he said. He reached under the table and pulled out a bucket of gravel. He dumped some gravel in and shook the mason jar, causing pieces of gravel to work themselves down to the spaces between the bigger rocks. Then he smiled and asked the group once more, "Is the jar full now?" By this time, they were on to him, and so one guy woke up and said, "Probably not." "Good," the speaker said. He reached under the table and brought out a bucket of sand. He poured in the sand, which went into all the spaces left between the rocks and the gravel. Once more he asked the question, "Is this jar full?" "No," the class said. Once again he replied, "That's good." He grabbed a pitcher of water and began to pour it in until the jar was filled to the very brim. He then looked at the class and asked, "What's the point of this illustration?" One eager beaver spoke and said, "The point is, no matter how busy your schedule, if you try really hard, you can always fit something else in." The speaker said, "No, that's not the point I want to make. The truth this illustration teaches is simply this: if you don't put the big rocks in first, you'll never get them in at all. To build a life, you and I hopefully know we need to put the big rocks in first. The psalmist says in Psalm 18, "The Lord is my rock, my fortress, my deliverer, my rock, in whom I take refuge." Building a life is like building a house. Each needs a strong foundation, a solid base. As you and I continue to build our life, let's make sure God is our foundation. God is our rock. God is our fortress.